The new Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold will be available shortly. Google has officially announced August 13th. And I'm as thrilled for it as I am for every other future foldable. I can't wait to look at it and admire its design before deciding that I don't want to use it. When the first iPad was released, people pointed it out and laughed, saying, "It's an oversized iPod." Sure, some who purchased them love reading books on them, or even browsing the internet on the bigger screen. However, most individuals who received a tablet did not use it, particularly when large-screen phones became increasingly popular. It was far faster and simpler to whip out your phone for those "let me just Google something" times than to reach for a tablet. Looking at apps on a tablet was futile, because they were just inflated copies of phone apps, displaying more significant amounts of material rather than more information. Because of their easy-to-read e-ink screens, Kindles became the superior option for reading books. Android devices had the same problems, but Apple found ways to make the iPad appealing. One of these methods was to follow the App Store's requirements for the iPad, which required developers to adapt their UI for large displays in order for their applications to be offered on the iPad. We didn't just transfer the mobile application to the tablet. Was this a significant deal? Look at it this way. Android tablets have thrown everything at us over the last decade. High-quality hardware, split screen, floating windows, integrated pen, multi-speaker configurations, and so on. Over the years, the iPad has been heavily criticized for its restricted hardware, limited multitasking capabilities, and lack of genuine stereo speakers. Apple was very slow to add or update such functionalities. However, over the years, Android tablet sales have declined to the point that virtually all manufacturers stopped producing them. iPad sales have steadily increased because Apple now sells them in 6 varieties and dares to charge premium laptop prices. One reason I prefer to use an iPad over a phone is that the larger screen displays more information, or an iPad over a laptop. I can simply move it from room to room while doing other things. Okay, let's go back to foldables. Anyone who has used a foldable phone recently may recognize parallels here. When you open the pricey Galaxy Z Fold 6 or Google Pixel Fold, you get the same applications and experience but larger and square-shaped. You can't even watch more extensive YouTube videos or movies because they're in widescreen format, the trendy 19:9 or higher cinematic format, which means substantial black bars at the top and bottom of the screen, and the image on the screen is the same size as a Galaxy S24 Ultra or iPhone 15 Pro Max display. Gaming? It depends, of course, on which games. The square aspect ratio in FPS games might result in an unusual field of view, limiting peripheral vision and preventing you from seeing your character's weapon. Then there are websites. Even if you have a massive, nearly 8-inch screen in your hands, many websites will adjust and display a mobile version. Many UI features are concealed in a sandwich menu rather than a top bar that allows you to browse the site. The attached exhibit shows Z Fold displaying a mobile version versus iPad showing a desktop version. Now hang on, I realize that large, square displays are ideal for multitasking, but I have some questions. Do you use your phone to multitask often enough to warrant spending about $1,800 on one? That's a really great benefit, but that isn't the main course here. The large screen on foldable phones must provide a better, upgraded, and improved app experience. A reason for me to want to open that phone. Why am I bringing Google into the conversation? Just as Apple sets the standards for iOS, Google determines what gets into commercial Android. When foldables first appeared, Google implemented responsive and adaptive design principles, enabling developers to optimize their applications appropriately. Only a few did. Responsive design implies that the software may adjust its resolution, allowing it to transition smoothly from one screen to another. However, because this does not change UI components, many applications seem strange, hindered, or terrible. Adaptive design allows for the transition between phone and tablet layouts. We appreciate and desire this. Few developers employ this since keeping up with new models requires constant effort. An adaptable design must be adapted to the particular screen size and ratio. The positive news is that both design options are not mutually exclusive. You can use adaptive design to have your app reorganize itself for an unfold screen and responsive design to ensure that everything fits nicely inside the new resolution. Google applications like your beloved Play Store employ responsiveness and adaptivity. Yes, the Google Play Store example above applies to a small number of applications. In reality, the YouTube Studio app seems unwilling to switch from folded to unfolded mode. I'd imagine it's still difficult to add these functionalities. What can be done? Fortunately, I'm not a coder but rather an armchair complainer here. As far as I can tell, it is difficult for developers to build and maintain a satisfactory balance between responsive and adaptive design. I hope Google is striving to make this simpler with future Android versions. In other words, there's a silver lining. Although many users, like myself, are dissatisfied with using a foldable's large screen, things may be about to improve. Just as tablets were formerly poor but are now better, there are indicators that applications on foldable phones will improve with time. Next, the original Pixel Fold had an odd form factor. Unlike other foldable, such as the Galaxy Z Fold 6, it was short and broad. The future Pixel 9 Pro Fold abandons this concept in favor of a much different aspect ratio, almost square. The claimed resolution of 2152 x 2076 indicates that the 9 Pro Fold's internal display is still somewhat more comprehensive than tall, which led specific applications to launch in landscape orientation on the original Pixel Fold. This validates our exclusive look at the new Fold, which seems to be considerably more comparable to other book-style foldables, such as the On Plus Open. Not only that, but the new model is much bigger than its predecessor. The inner display is 8 inches wide, compared to 7.6 inches for the original Pixel Fold. While making these adjustments, Google updated the display specifications to make them more appropriate for a 2024 flagship. The inside display is now much brighter, with 1600 nits of full-screen HDR brightness against 1000 nits on the original Fold. While lower than the values of the series' non-foldable phones, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold's display nevertheless competes well with rival manufacturers' foldable phones. The inner panel has a slightly better resolution, but the bigger size maintains the pixel density around the same as last year. The outside display has also been upgraded to a 6.24-inch screen with an HDR brightness of 1800 nits. Interestingly, the panel's specifications are identical to the display of the regular Pixel 9, except for the software corner radius. We could not confirm if the screens were the same item. However, it is reasonable to presume they use the same technology. One benefit of adding the Pixel Fold follow-up to the Pixel 9 series is that it can use the same Tensor G4 processor as this year's top Google smartphones, which would mean advantages over a G3-equipped gadget. While Tensor processors are not renowned for their benchmarking abilities, reports suggest that the G4 CPU will be built on Samsung's Exynos 2400 chipset, which powers the S24 and S24 Plus outside the United States. Exynos processors do not outperform the flagship Snapdragon chipsets used by other Android flagships. Still, the new architecture may provide the Pixel 9 Pro Fold with a considerable increase in computational power and extra AI functions not seen in last year's G3-powered Pixel 8 series. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold might include 16 gigs of RAM, 4 gigs more than the original. A storage update to UFS 4.0 would result in quicker read or write speeds and more power efficiency. In addition to these internal changes, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold might have a Threads radio. This would allow it to interact with Matter smart home items and run future devices from various companies. The Pixel Fold had a 48 megapixels primary lens, a 10.8 megapixels ultra-wide lens, and a 10.8 megapixels telephoto with 5x optical zoom. It doesn't seem that significant camera upgrades are planned for the upcoming iteration. However, one rumor suggests an ultra-wide camera update for the Pixel 9 variants. We'll see whether this includes the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Whatever happens, we can expect Google to invest heavily in AI camera improvements, both in terms of creating better images from the start and providing more sophisticated editing capabilities after the shot is taken. So let us know what you think in the comments section. As always, see you tomorrow. Peace out.